A lot of people wonder how I achieve the sound that I have, and they think it lies within the drums that I choose, or the heads, or the cymbals. But I think the most essential information that I can pass is using the proper technique to get the proper sound. I was taught how to hold the stick two different ways. The first one is the butt of the stick in my palm. After that, I will wrap my index finger and thumb around, and these three are just free flowing and pretty much just bounce the stick back into my palm. So that way I am using physics, I'm using gravity to be able to stroke the drum and not have to exert so much energy to get a proper sound out of it. With observation, you can see that when I bring the stick up, you really only see my wrist move, and this is somewhat pushing it back into my palm for the downstroke. The second way that I learned how to hold the stick was in marching band. This way, I kind of let the stick have an angle, and most of my power is coming from my middle finger. So I will do a demonstration of how I play my rim shots on the snare drum. It looks pretty much the same as the other technique that I showed you, but that one little alternative has allowed me to have a little bit more dynamic power over the part or the instrument that I feel is most important to accent. I think the most fundamental rudiment that we can start off with as far as using this technique would be the single stroke roll. Notice how I use the same technique around the drum set. My posture, most of the time when I play, stays the exact same. I try to stay upright, not move around my body a lot, because I look at my body, this part of my body is an anchor, and the rest of it is fluid and moving around the kit. So my recommendation from there, that now that you know how to hold the stick, is to put on a metronome and really assess your posture. And make sure that you're seeing a bit of consistency with how each hand looks, and also the stick height. Another element of technique that is very important to know is the proper way to hit the kick drum. Now, there are so many different ways in how to play the kick drum. One way is the heel up technique, where you lift up your foot and use your toe to get power out of the kick. And it goes a little bit like this. But a lot of times, I find what is comfortable for me is a mixture of another technique that I learned, which is pretty much where my heel is now at the bottom and I'm using my toes to go down. As far as doubles are concerned, I have taken a hybrid of the two techniques that I've learned for playing kick drum, which is the heel toe and the toe heel, and I made a little hybrid. If I were to slow this down, you would be able to see that on my first stroke, I lift up my heel, and then for my second stroke, I use mostly my toe. So that way, it creates a nice sort of wave fluid motion, and I'm not really tiring my calf muscles too much or my ankles. I'm going to play a very simple basic pattern for you so that you are able to see how I am using the techniques that I showed you within playing the drum kit. The key thing is that you take the proper time to really assess how you're moving and that you are playing with a proper technique that will give you a consistent sound, because that is the fundamental element of playing in the pocket.